All right, y'all. I'm back after a 2-week hiatus where I wasn't able to live stream. Many of you guys don't know this, but I was suspended on YouTube like beginning of the month for various thought crimes. But the real reason is because I committed a thought crime that involved Ghislaine Maxwell. I bullied her. I intimidated her. This is a year ago when I made the video. And I didn't realize at the time, and apparently YouTube didn't realize it either, that 1 year ago I committed these crimes, these thought crimes. So they punished me a year later for a video I made last year where I bullied Ghislaine Maxwell. So I learned my lesson. I will not say anything rude about her again. I mean, it was, I'm just remorseful. I should never say anything bad about Ghislaine Maxwell or Epstein or, anybody of that caliber. I shouldn't say anything. So I learned my lesson. YouTube, I'm sorry. But that's what happened, guys. That's why I was suspended. And then, lots of traveling, lots of fatherhood, learning, all that good stuff. Nonetheless, I'm back. So I intend to try to do live streams every week now, just like I was kind of doing before. You remember at the beginning of the year, having people on the channel, do all that stuff. I'm going to get back to it. I appreciate your patience, all of you. And thank you to everybody that has emailed, sent their prayers, donations, P.O. Box, PayPal, Cash App, all of that good stuff. Thank you. All right, let me give some shout outs and then we'll get started. We'll get started, guys, because the first headline I'm going to show you, we got to start with a little laugh. We got to chuckle. We have to laugh because everything else is so damn depressing. All right. So Charles Turner, what's up, my man? Charles in the building. As always, Mike, great work in Riverside and in Florida too. When you were doing a man on the street interview. Oh yeah. You're referring to my man on the street video from the other day, which I hope you guys got a chance to check out, where I walked around Daytona Beach and talked to a bunch of beachgoers that were shilling for Big Pharma and pounding the pavement for an authoritarian government takeover of their life. Like, have you ever seen anything like this in your life? We've seen a bunch of crazy stuff up until this point. Now you got people out there just begging to be dominated by the state. They're begging for it. Please, government, force it. They're up in Jacksonville protesting, trying to get the city to enforce a mask mandate on students for this upcoming year. I mean, what is this? This is the only country on earth where people march in the street to demand the chains of their own enslavement. Other countries march against tyranny, right? They protest against tyranny. Coincidentally, that gets covered up by the mainstream media. They're not talking about what's going on in France or Greece or Italy or Australia. People are protesting against the state. Here you got people protesting for it. Control us more. We want more power taken from us and given to you. That's essentially what went on at the beach. If you didn't check that out, please do. DM in the chat. What's up, DM? One of my long-standing mods. Been a mod for like a couple years. Luciano in there. Joe Kerr. I think I got you as a mod too, Joe Kerr. I can't tell. I don't have up the. Let me see if I can double check real quick. And then we're going to get started for real. Okay, yeah. I got all the mods. I use a different chat that I look at and I can see who's actually a mod and who isn't. So I'll just use this one. All right, guys. Without further ado, let's get started. All right. Let me share my screen here so y'all can see this first headline. All right, here's how we're going to get started today. All right, y'all ready? Look at this headline. Look at this headline, guys. Unvaccinated snow leopard tests positive for the coof at the San Diego Zoo. Vaccinates animal. Dude, what? First of all, that's not a snow leopard. I don't know what's going on there. Fake news top to bottom here, right? Bro. An unvaccinated snow leopard? Is that where we are? Y'all, you can't make this up. The truth is so much stranger than fiction. They're pushing fear so hard that they're telling you about animals that haven't been vaccinated. That damn snow leopard must have been watching Tucker on a nightly basis, must have been watching Alex Jones, must have been watching me, just getting bombarded with right-wing misinformation, because that unvaccinated snow leopard is a part of this pandemic. That unvaccinated snow leopard is out there infecting people. This right-wing snow leopard is affecting our community. It's a public health. Where was that unvaccinated snow leopard on January 6th? That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know, y'all. Unvaccinated animals are a problem. They're a part of this pandemic. And yeah, we're never going to flatten the curve. We're never going to go back to normal, because now this right-wing GOP extremist misinformation has trickled down to the animal kingdom. Where's PETA on this? That's all I want to know. Where in the hell is PETA? Where is our commander in chief? Is his head up in space with Jeff Bezos? I don't know. Somebody should talk to him. The dude, what is going on anymore? What is going on? What's going on? I mean, every time I log in, I'll go a couple days where I'm like not really on Twitter. I might tweet my thoughts out, but I'm not actually like seeing what's going on. And then every time I actually start paying attention, there's a new thing that this man has said or done. My butt's been wiped. Like what? Or the other day when he's talking about drinking kids' blood. Does the GOP think we drink the blood of children? Now, it's interesting that he, he was completely unprovoked and he went there. Why? Why was that on his mind? How did his handlers let that slip through? Because I'm pretty sure that wasn't on any of his teleprompters. That wasn't in his notes. It wasn't in his earpiece. But he goes out there and almost with a guilty conscience says, what do they think, we're drinking kids' blood? Well, now that probably sounds a little extreme, right? But when you look at some of these headlines here from the past, I mean, can we reverse the aging process by putting young blood into older people? Now, that's not quite drinking children's blood, because that sounds like some kind of thriller movie or something, some kind of vampire thing, right? But look, this is from a trusted source, right? The Guardian. Can we reverse the aging process by putting young blood into older people? Shall I continue? Here we go. The BBC. That's a trusted source, right? The BBC. Look at this. The super rich are injecting blood from teenagers to gain immortality. So it's not like it's far-fetched to think that people are doing this. Whether it's drinking kids' blood, injecting it, like you see this photo right here, like this is just normal. We're just going to pretend like this is normal. It's right there in front of your faces. And Joe Biden is making a mockery of it. Now, I don't know what's bringing it out of the woodworks now, but it's been covered before. Adrenochrome. We know about adrenochrome. It's in the Controlled Substances Act. I mean, that thing exists. That is a real thing. Sandra Bullock herself went on Ellen and talked about Korean baby foreskin being used as an anti-aging property in skin creams. This is well documented, well covered. And Joe Biden speaking this way is just a way for him to try to smear Republicans and try to discredit any opposition. Like, yeah, anyone who doesn't align with me politically probably thinks I drink kids' blood. And this is just in response. If you guys don't know what I'm referring to, this is him responding to a reporter asking him if Democrats want to defund the police. His response was a non-answer. It was, are there Republicans that think that we drink kids' blood? Like, first of all, you didn't answer the question, because the correct answer is yes, Democrats do want to defund the police. It's not a fringe minority. It's a big part of the left-wing base in the Democrat Party. It's Cori Bush. It's the squad. It's all of that rhetoric coming from the leftists in the Democrat Party that want to defund the police. But that's besides the point. He tried to make it sound like people on the other side of the aisle believe all of this crazy conspiracy theory stuff about Democrats that he thinks is not true. And so that's what he was doing, was pretty much mocking people on the other side of the aisle, mocking you, essentially. crazy people. That's what he's trying to do. Put it out there like, hey, these are the crazy people. Do they think that? But hey, this is our unhinged, loose cannon. You never know what he's going to say next, what he's going to do next. I just saw a video where he put his face mask, and if I can find it, I'll show you guys. It's cringe. You've seen several videos of this man being inappropriate with children. The left just acts like it's not a thing. It doesn't happen. I don't see it. Trump was a bad man. That's all that matters. We got him out the way. The other day, maybe, he took his dirty face mask and put it in the hand of a kid, some like 12-year-old boy. He grabs him by the hand. I want to say he was in Virginia, maybe. I don't know. Just got real creepy right there on camera. You can't make this stuff up, man. But these are just some headlines I wanted to get to before I talk about the main thing, which is Andrew Cuomo, Governor Cuomo. Coincidentally, the day after the DOJ says, we're not going to look into him. We don't need to investigate his body count. He put COVID-infected patients back into nursing homes, which drove up the death count in New York, but that's not worth an investigation. So they sent a signal to Cuomo that emboldened him. Like, hey, you can literally get away with murder, Andrew Cuomo. You can get away with it. And so what does he do the next day? He says straight up, yeah, we're coming to your house and we're going to drag you out of your house and take you to get this shot. I'm going to play it for you guys. Here you go.
And we have to get in those communities and we have to knock on those doors and we have to convince people and put them in a car and drive them and get that vaccine in their arm. That is the mission.
Do you hear that rhetoric,
and
y'all?
We have to get it.
You hear that rhetoric? We got to get them into the car, drive them down there, and get that shot into their arm. This is the level of threats and intimidation that they have reached, because the stupid cartoons, the Krispy Kreme donuts, the free beer, the pass to the amusement park, all of that was softball. That was them just saying, hey, let's incentivize you. Let's make, it'll be fun. They try to make it a social thing. You got Ariana Grande singing, talking about get the shot, get vaccinated, right? That's what they were talking about. Now they're just outright telling you, we're coming to your door and we will throw you in the back of a paddy wagon. We're going to drive you down and get it in your arm. Just the tone and the rhetoric is so Hitlerian. This sounds like we just time traveled back to the 30s to hear this man say that. I'm going to play it again for those that may just be tuning in. This is the governor of New York talking about how he's going to show up to people's houses and get them in a car. That sounds like Kidnap to me. But listen for yourself again.
And we have to get in those communities and we have to knock on those doors and we have to convince people and put them in a car and drive them and get that vaccine in their arm. That is the mission.
That is the mission. They're telling you. They're telling you the plan. Going back to his rhetoric, I mean, it sounds like he wants to kidnap New Yorkers. First of all, showing up to someone's property unannounced, uninvited is problematic in itself. But then when you talk about like, we're showing up to your house and we're taking you on the spot. We're going to convince you to go on the spot. What step do they take after that? What if you decide you're not coming out there? What if you decide, you know what? I'm not even going to answer the door. What step are they going to take then to get you vaccinated? If they're over there pushing out headlines about animals in zoos that are unvaccinated, what are they going to do to humans that are like barricading themselves at home, staying at home because they don't want this? They're going to come to your door. A lot of people aren't going to answer. So what's next? Is it really that hard to believe that they might actually get a little bit, gangster with it? I don't know. Man. I just know that we are in some scary times right now, and they're using so much hyperbole. Check this out. Where's my, left my page. Hold on. I got to go back to my page here. Come on, man. Come on, Twitter. There we go. It's always different when I'm trying to use it from the computer. All right, check this out. Governor of California, listen to this hyperbole.
It's choice to live with this virus. And with all due respect, you don't have a choice to go out and drink and drive and put everybody else's lives at risk. That's the equivalent of this moment with the deadliness and efficiency of the Delta virus. You're putting other people's, innocent people's lives at risk.
So being unvaccinated is the new drunk driving. You might as well be drunk driving at 2 a.m. flying down the highway. That's what your unvaccinated status means to them. I mean, that just goes beyond hyperbole. That's just straight up shaming you, wanting you to feel like the scum of the earth because you decided that you're going to make a personal decision without anyone's intervention, without people who are unlicensed, people who do not have the expertise to give you advice on what to do with your body, your temple, your sacred temple. They're telling you, yeah, that's the same as you driving drunk. Now it feels too elementary to have to explain the difference, how that is such a false equivalent and how that is so just dishonest. But he said it with confidence. And if I'm not mistaken, this is another guy who shoved COVID infected patients back in nursing homes. Now he made the statement yesterday. So Biden's DOJ is refusing to investigate these crimes against humanity. And because they made that public, we're not investigating them. Well, that emboldened them to come after you now. Now, this guy, he knows he's getting recalled. He knows his time is done. But he also probably feels pretty good knowing he's not going to do a day in jail. And that's why I say all the people that are, clamoring over the AZ audits and all that stuff, nobody's going to jail. Nobody's getting held accountable. That's just the reality. That's not my opinion, guys. That's just the reality. 0 people are going to jail. You know who's going to jail? Trump supporters are going to jail. People who are outside of the Capitol building on January 6th, they're going to jail. They're getting investigated. They're on FBI watch list. They're getting censored off social media. Now you got PayPal out there trying to partner with the ADL, maybe, I don't know, to try to weed out extremists and disrupt their stream of revenue. They're going after you. They're not going after Cuomo. They're not going after Newsom or Whitmer or Hunter Biden, for that matter, the guy who just smoked crack on video, on camera. You know what happens to an average just normie out there if they're doing drugs, if they're on camera doing drugs? More likely than not, the cops are going to find them and they're going to get arrested and prosecuted. 2-tier justice system, right? Well, it's multi-tiered, right? Because you got the elites who are above everybody. They fear no consequences. They can do exactly whatever they want to do. The system protects itself. That's why Fauci is still a mouthpiece. That's why Fauci's still talking on television, because he knows he's going to spend the rest of his life more free than you, right? So you got the elites. Then you got the left, just average leftists, people that torch buildings, people that torch police precincts, rob, terrorize, attack people in the streets. They attacked a firefighter, just mob violence. Cops stand by, right? They don't get arrested. They don't get investigated. There's no commission to study what's going on and figure out who's who and all that stuff. They're not trying to bring anybody to justice, but they're going after January 6th patriots. People that were inside the Capitol, not inside the Capitol. Some people held in solitary confinement, being denied due process, haven't seen their day in court. A couple people have been prosecuted already. They're the ones doing time, not these elites. None of these elites, right? It's multi-tiered justice system. Elites don't get in trouble. They don't go to jail. They're minions that go out and terrorize cities. They don't do any time. Matter of fact, they get bailed out. Kamala Harris will solicit bail money for, rioters, looters. They look the other way when that's happening. What kind of message does that send to the country? That sends a message like, if you're not on our side, you will be steamrolled. If you are on our side and you happen to get in some kind of dust up and there's a rogue cop out there that happens to arrest you, we'll get you out. We'll get you out. That's what they're doing. This is straight up like guerrilla tactics that they're using on the country right now. If you stand up for this country, if you stand up for the truth, if you believe in bodily autonomy, medical freedom, if you believe in God, if you don't serve the devil, if you're not out here, shilling for the world's worst people, then guess what? You're on the chopping block. That's the message that they sent to the whole country, and they continue to send it every single day. And they're talking about rounding you up. They're calling you basically a drunk driver. You're basically killing people, even though you're not sick. You are a murderer. That's what they're telling you. And it's repetitious. And then they've got people on loop. They've got people so brainwashed that they'll go and actually protest and demand the city put restrictions on people who want to be free. That's where we are. I mean, it's a shame. It's sad. These governors, these wicked, and I know somebody sent me something in my P.O. box about Governor DeSantis in his bill that was signed in May. It said something along the lines of you can be forced inoculated if you are deemed a public health threat in an emergency, like a state of emergency. That's problematic. I've addressed it before. If I get a chance to meet him again, I will ask him about it, in good faith. And I feel like he would address, I would give him the benefit of the doubt, because for the majority of his time as governor of the state of Florida, he's been solid. He's been stand up. He's been on the side of liberty. So I will ask him about that. But that's very different than some of these other governors out here and mayors that are saying, like the mayor of Austin saying, everyone's going to be in the ICU by the end of the month. I mean, history repeats itself. History meaning last year, 2020 is repeating itself. The next thing that's going to come out, they're going to tell us whatchamacallits, the ICUs are overwhelmed. The hospitals are overwhelmed. That's what's coming next. They're going to say it's about the unvaccinated. It's a pandemic of the unvaccinated. That's where they're going with this. I mean, if they're going to tell you about snow leopards that aren't snow leopards, I don't know how that cat got on the screen, but that's not a snow leopard. They're telling you animals are getting it, guys. Look at all the animals. Don't you care about these animals? This is a real headline, guys. This is where they're at to try to get the jab in your arm. They're telling you you're a criminal. They're locking you up. They're putting you on no-fly list. They're spying on your social media. They're going to kick you off social media. Right? They're telling you you're a terrorist. You're an unvaccinated freak, Neanderthal. They dehumanize you. This is what they did in Germany. This is history repeating itself. They're shaming you over this medicine, which I can't go too far into because, it will not please the YouTube overlords. But, just make sure that you guys are following me on Odyssey. I just put little things on there. Sometimes I don't always record videos of my commentary. Sometimes it's stuff I come across and I'm like, man, I'll get kicked off YouTube for this, but I'll still put it somewhere. I post video clips on Odyssey. I've posted probably 3 or 4 in the last couple of days. Check it out. And if you're using it from your smartphone, you're on Android, it is LBRY, I guess library. I don't know. That's the app. It's not actually Odyssey. It's the same thing, but it's called library. It actually operates pretty smoothly. So I recommend you check it out. Okay. Now let's go to, hold on. There's another topic I have in here. Let's talk about Tucker Carlson. Okay, Tucker Carlson was confronted in Utah when he was out there over the weekend, I guess, for a fishing trip. This isn't the first time that he was confronted, right? He's been confronted fishing before, right? So if you haven't seen this, it's got 3.8 million views. I have a hard time believing you haven't seen it. Here it is.
Dude, you are the worst human being known to mankind. I want you to know what you have done to this city, to the United States, to everything else in this world. I don't care that your daughter's here. What you've done to people's families, what you have done to everybody else in this society.
Now Tucker, to his credit, handled it like, as calm and cool and collected as he could. I mean, I don't think there's a better way to handle it. I mean, he knew he was on camera. He knew that this was a moment that they were going to use to as fodder, cannon fodder for people on MSNBC and CNN. And of course, the entire left cheered this on, right? And apparently this guy is a federale or an informant or somebody involved in this system, this cabal, this crime family, trying to take out anybody who's a dissident. Tucker happens to be the biggest dissident with the biggest audience. He's still on TV. I have no idea why he's gone independent from Fox News. He should just go independent. He could take out Fox News single-handedly. He would have more ratings than that entire network combined, right? It's basically just become a neocon network, but that's besides the point. Tucker is getting confronted. The left is constantly going after him. And who did he replace on Fox News? I want to say it was Bill O'Reilly or somebody. I don't recall anybody before Tucker getting this much hate, this much pressure, being targeted, being spied on. Why? Ask yourself why. Why is he so dangerous to them? What comes out of his mouth that is so scary and damaging that late night talk show hosts are going after him? Of course, all the other networks go after him. Articles are written about him. They pressure advertisers to pull ads from his show. It's the most popular show on cable news, of course, but there's more to it than that. Why are they going after this man so hard? Why is this guy in his face? Aren't we in the middle of a pandemic? Why is this guy in Tucker Carlson's face like that? Look at that. Unmasked in his face. We're in a pandemic. What's going on with that? I'm just saying, the hypocrisy. Where's the guy's mask? He should be socially distanced from him. And then has the nerve to be like, your rhetoric is killing people. How do you know this guy is some super spreader? Look at this guy in his face, spitting on him. That to me looks like somebody that's spreading COVID. I mean, if I'm over here spreading COVID and I'm not even sick, apparently this guy's spreading COVID. I mean, he went and found Tucker Carlson. I don't know, man. You can't make this stuff up, guys. It's weird. That's the culture that's been created, right? This guy looking for a viral moment, looking for praise, like, look at me, I confronted a racist and an extremist. Pat me on the back. This is all for a giant dopamine hit. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. It's about this look at me, look what I'm doing. I'm so stunning and brave. I just confronted Tucker Carlson because his misinformation is leading to people's death. But we're in the middle of this pandemic and this guy is in Tucker's face. Who knows if he's been vaccinated or not, but he's unmasked. He's close. He's spreading his germs. He's a hypocrite. All right. But that's the culture, the environment that's been created, where if you can get yourself on camera confronting one of these racist extremists that spread misinformation, then we'll praise you. We'll give you a pat on the back. Maybe Rachel Maddow will interview this guy. Tell us about the moment you confronted this evil man, right? There's going to be articles written about him. He's basically going to be a hero at this point, right? I mean, let's just call it what it is. That's not it, though. It's not just people who confront extremists. It's if you can get yourself on camera, and I've talked about this several times, in a viral moment where you are a victim. There is currency in being a victim. If you can be caught with some white person yelling in your face, or a cop, which I'm pulling it up right now, a cop planting evidence in your car, like this video here, if you haven't seen it. You see this? This guy's like, you just threw something in my car, a bag. He recorded him because the entire narrative is, if you're black and you get pulled over by a cop, you should record it because you're probably going to get killed. They're going to kill you. They're going to harass you. They're going to do something, and you're the victim. So if you can catch it on camera, tell us your story. Maybe you'll get to go on Good Morning America, because they reward this victimhood. There's no virtue in it, even though they're treating it like it's this new currency. It's a new currency where if you get yourself in this video and people are just, the lie travels halfway around the world before the truth even straps on its boots. This bag right here that you're looking at, empty. When the police body cam footage comes out, it shows everything in context. But see, there's such a shortage of racist cops and just racist people in general that they have to manufacture it to sell their narrative. They have to lie. They have to Jussie Smollett the situation. They have to, what was her name? I want to say Erica Thomas. She's like I don't know, she's a Georgia state rep or something. She said that somebody told her to go back to her country, go back to where she came from, because she cut him in line at the store, and then it came out to be a complete hoax. This is where we are, the level of desperation to keep this narrative going, that cops are just out here just indiscriminately hunting down black people, just killing them for no reason. How come I keep dodging those bullets? Literally, I've left my house hundreds of thousands of times, and the cops don't do anything. They leave me alone. The times I've been pulled over, I cooperated. Like, yeah, sorry, I guess I was speeding. I didn't realize it. Wow, I didn't have my blinker on. Oh, I didn't realize my taillight was out. It's not like you're harassing me because I'm a black man in a nice truck. That's not a thing, man. But they keep manufacturing these hate crime hoaxes. The cops are targeting me. Why? Because the people at the top, these elites, keep on, and these are, of course, very successful and wealthy elites. They continue to tell everybody else, you can't do it because you're black or brown. You're a BIPOC, indigenous person of color, and you can't do it because there's too much systemic oppression. The most successful people are pushing this false narrative and also telling people who look like me, hey, guess what? You're on the chopping block. White people are going to hunt you down. Cops are coming after you for you just being a law-abiding citizen. So you need to watch your back when you leave your house. Record the cops. And even if you can't actually catch them doing anything wrong, if, out of context, it looks like they are, share your clip, go viral. Maybe you'll get to go on Good Morning America. Maybe Ellen DeGeneres will interview you. Maybe Don Lemon will have you on the show. You'll get some social media clout, some followers. You can set up a GoFundMe. That's the level of grift. They call right-wingers, they call people like me grifters. There's no money in what I'm doing. There's no money. I appreciate y'all's donations. There's no money in this. If I want to get paid, I need to be a victim. I need to say, man, I was harassed by my racist Trump-supporting neighbors. I need to say something like that, right? I need to have some kind of narrative that can politicians can campaign on. People can push out their virtue signaling messages. It needs to be a big corporate thing. That's why I said BLM and this whole victimhood movement, this whole, this country isn't free, this country is racist, that whole movement, that's a grift. If corporations back it, if television promotes it, it's not the revolution. You ever hear that saying, the revolution will not be televised? Well, how come BLM is on television every day? How come all of the big corporations, banks, Wall Street, big tech, politicians, athletes, everybody supports it? If the entire system supports your movement, you're not the revolution. That's just it. That's just it. So yeah, this whole thing with this cop planted evidence. I see what you're doing. I got you on camera. It's like, yeah, I got you on camera too. I got body cam footage. Even if the cop was trying to plant evidence, that's the most obvious way to do it. Let me just fling this bag in the back seat because nobody would see me. If he was trying to plant evidence, he could have just like dropped it on the ground right outside of his window. I'm thinking there's probably like 100,000 ways he could have, discreetly planted some evidence in this car. Not so obvious where he's tossing it in the back seat, and it's an empty bag, by the way. I mean, this was so easily debunked. The very minute I saw the video, I'm like, is that actually what happened? Like, even though it looks shady, is that actually a thing that happened? It's just so over the top, man. They just don't even try anymore. They're so sloppy and lazy with these narratives that they're trying to just, let me stop sharing the screen. I'm gonna go full screen. This whole thing, guys, is just insanity. But you see the country is declining because of it, because it feels like the lies are prevailing. The evil is prevailing. It's in plain sight. It's open air. It's coming from the White House. The creepy president of the United States, the guy that occupies the White House, comments on the looks of 9-year-old girls on camera, doesn't get held accountable. People look the other way. He talks about children's blood, and he doesn't know what planet he's on. He's embarrassing us on the world stage, dividing the country. You've got all these governors of these big states talking about how, you're basically a drunk driver, and we're going to knock on your door, and we're going to get you in a car and drive you and get that needle in your arm. The rhetoric. And then the Department of Justice, they're not investigating any of them. In fact, they're holding investigations against you because of your values. They're coming after you. They're coming after me. But they want us to hate each other, so that if we hate each other, if we fight over trivial stuff that's just so inconsequential, it just doesn't even matter. The skin color you were born with, ooh, let's fight over that. And we can ignore the fact that we're all going to get oppressed under the boot of this big government, globalist, demonic takeover. While they indoctrinate kids, force them to wear masks all day, keep them distanced, deny them of their childhood, their innocence, rob them, violate them, propagandize them, raise them so that they grow up angry, hate-filled, fighting each other, not looking at the people who are actually trying to destroy the world. The people like Bill Gates, the Bilderbergs, the Klaus Schwabs. Don't forget, the last time I live streamed, I talked about what? The World Economic Forum and their cyber polygon. All of these viral video clips that go all over social media and expose the media for what they are, the mainstream media, the dinosaur legacy media, expose politicians, expose hypocrites. All that information flows freely right now online. You can go and expose a mainstream narrative pretty easily because of social media running parallel to it. Like, hey, they got this helicopter. Like, hey, here's what's going on at the protest. It looks like a bunch of Trump supporters circling a black person. And from our vantage point, it looks like they're harassing him and calling him the N-word. And then you got people down there on the ground live streaming on Facebook and the rest. And they're like, actually, we're just over here singing Kumbaya. We all get along. We're all Trump supporters or something like that. That's just an example. You've got mainstream narratives, and then you've got social media narratives. You've got citizen journalists, and their information gets more views than the CNNs and even the Fox News and the MSNBC. They get more views on social media. So the truth gets out there. They want to clamp down. So that's where cyber polygon comes in, because they can easily just false flag a cyber attack to justify a digital power grab. Like, oh, yeah, we got to shut down this internet. We got to clamp down. Now, when you submit that Facebook post, when you submit the Twitter post, it's got to go through a review process before it can be made public. Watch it happen. They got to clamp down somehow. They got to shut up voices like me somehow. They got to shut up your voice. They got to stop you from hitting share when somebody's telling the truth online, when a post comes out, when a meme comes out that, shows and exposes who these people really are. The Hunter Biden smoking crack on camera video, that can't be seen because it's not coming out in the mainstream news. So what does that tell you for the average normie out there? Just the average person out there, they're on social media. They come across a video of Hunter Biden smoking crack or Joe Biden being creepy, or there's some news story that's not being covered. And they're like, damn, I wonder why I didn't see that on ABC News. Why didn't Lester Holt talk about that on NBC Nightly News? How come Joy Reid and Whoopi Goldberg aren't talking about that on The View? How come Trevor Noah doesn't talk about it on Late Night? Seth Meyers. Why aren't they talking about it? Oh, it's because they're frauds. They don't want me to know about this. It's a cover up. You see what I mean? So they're going to clamp down on all that. They want to reclaim the narrative that they lost. And the only way to do that is to control social media. So yeah, how convenient that we'll have a cyber polygon where they can just do a dry run of how will it look if somebody attacked social media and bank accounts and water treatment facilities. Watch it happening. Watch it, guys. Next year, and I'm not Nostradamus. I'm just saying, I'm looking at 2019 when they held Event 201, and not even a few months later, what happened? Boom, this brand new virus that just so happens to line up with the Democrat agenda for 2020. Lockdowns, crash the economy, civil unrest, and then mail-in ballots for the most important election in modern history. Everything went right for them in 2020 after they had this dry run. What if we got hit with an infectious disease that took out a bunch of people? And we're still going through it. It's been a power grab ever since. And you got so many people out there brainwashed. They're like, you just need to follow rules. You just need to listen to government. Mask up, you Trumper. Put it on so we can get our freedom back. I mean, whoever trusts government lacks a lot of knowledge of history. You really think that they're going to give you back your freedom after they take it away, right? The Patriot Act. What happened after 9/11? The Patriot Act. Have they given the power back to us that they took after the Patriot Act was passed? No, they haven't. So now you got this pandemic thing. People think we're going back to normal if you anti-vaxxers just get the shot. That's what they think, right? Now, what happens next year during an election year when there's some kind of convenient cyber attack that changes the internet forever, where information can't get shared, and then they cram down the mainstream news articles, news stories. That's what gets crammed down, controlling the narrative, clamping down. That's the only way they can win. Right now, they're in panic mode. They're in panic mode because they don't have the control yet. That's why they're using so much hyperbole. That's why they're hyper-focused on January 6th. They're calling it the worst thing to happen on American soil since Pearl Harbor. Like, just insane, sensational exaggerations, keeping people distracted. It really only works on sheep. It really does. As they tell you about snow leopards getting COVID that are unvaccinated. It's just this wild pandemic. It's hitting animals. It's getting mosquitoes. Everything's just getting it. That's where we are in America. So that's all I got to say. That's all. That's my rant. It was long overdue. I should have ranted about that a long time ago. Let me give a few shout outs and then I'm going to head out. Charles Turner with 2 super chats. I appreciate you, Charles. We must look at good things that are happening. States banning CRT, adopting constitutional carry and Second Amendment sanctuaries, states' rights, the 10th Amendment, checks and balances are important. Yeah, those are important. I agree. It's not all doom and gloom, but it's also not all sunshine and rainbows. I look at the state of affairs in our country right now and the agendas that the elites are carrying out. They seem to be effective, and I can really only respond to what I'm seeing when I go out to the beach and I'm talking to somebody. And I had to leave a lot of that interview out with some of those ladies because it would have been too long. We talked to them for like 15, 20 minutes, and there's a lot of people that actually are begging for the government to control you and me. And, yeah, that's great. Banning CRT from schools. Guess what? The left still controls academia. They still control academia. They can still, there's workarounds. You could ban critical race theory all day. They'll just call it something else. The teachers in the classroom are going to teach what they want to teach. There's only so much you can do. And I'm tired of these Republicans grandstanding. There's only so many Republicans that are willing to actually fight, that are actually telling the truth. People like Thomas Massey, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene. You know, there's a handful, but the rest are just grandstanding. Marco Rubio and all them, just, what are they doing? They're just trying to throw out a little bit of red meat. That's why they hopped on that whole Cuban protest bandwagon. They're like, this looks good. We stand against socialism and communism. That's all the Republicans really ever talk about is we're against socialism and communism. What about fascism? What about medical tyranny? What about the people in solitary confinement? What about the fact that our Department of Justice won't investigate governors who put COVID-infected patients in nursing homes? What about Hunter Biden's laptop? What about Hillary's emails? What about Hunter Biden's emails? Anthony Weiner's laptop? What about all of these disgusting monsters? What about Fauci? What about his emails? That's what I'm saying. There's some hard-hitting topics out there that I'm not really seeing a lot of. You know, it's easy to point out the low-hanging fruit. Like, yes, Liz Cheney, that's a rhino. Yeah, Mitt Romney might as well join the Democrat Party. But what about freaking Mitch McConnell? Mitch McConnell out there telling you to get the jab. Ted Cruz believing in getting like no mask for vaccinated. He believes in segregation. That's Ted Cruz for you. What about the Texas GOP trying to destroy an alternative social media platform by calling it anti-Semitic? That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of snakes in the grass on the Republican side of the aisle. There's a lot more that needs to be done. Charles again. Oh, wait, no, I read that one. Appreciate you, Charles. Appreciate everybody else that super chat and everybody that's tuned in. Please, guys, if you're watching right now, give this a thumbs up. I noticed that a lot of people will comment, and that's great. I appreciate it. But I need you to give it a thumbs up, like this stream, so that I can circumvent the algorithms. More people will see it if there's more engagement, and engagement includes liking the stream. So please give it a like. I appreciate all of you. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. I just want to see some justice. I know I said before that people are probably going to escape justice, but they won't escape judgment day. You know, God doesn't like ugly. You know, everybody's going to meet their maker at the end of the day, you know, and you're going to have to answer for your crimes. Everything that you've done in this world, you're going to have to answer for. So, I mean, that helps me sleep better at night, knowing that. But otherwise, I'm human. So I get triggered. I get frustrated. I get triggered when they say things like anti-government. There is no such thing as anti-government. The government is anti-freedom. You know, anti-government slogans. Are you serious? Like, elites getting away with things. Cuomo getting away with crimes. You hear about the FBI organizing, facilitating the Gretchen Whitmer kidnap attempt, the January 6th thing. I mean, aren't you guys tired of it? That's why I'm not going to sit there and like get all giddy about the election stuff in Arizona. What's going to happen? Yes, we'll have it on record. Cool. Videos are coming out. Great. I saw videos the week of the election. Project Veritas dropped like 10 videos that same week. I'm like, okay, great, cool. Thanks, James O'Keefe. Appreciate the work you do. God bless. But what's going to happen? Zero happened. Nothing. Absolutely nothing happened. Thank you, Betty Boop 2020. Thank you. I appreciate you. Meanwhile, they're over there telling you, again, you are a terrorist. You are spreading a pandemic. Even though you're not sick, you are the one that is in charge of this. It's all your fault. You know, what happened on January 6th is worse than what happened in Pearl Harbor and 9/11 combined. That's what they're telling you. And we're going to use your tax dollars to fund our shenanigans, our circus. So that's all I got to say, you guys. That is it. Sean said, let's be honest, the Dems don't fear the right, and Republican politicians only cement that because they are weak cowards who do nothing. That is, where is that comment at? I'm going to pin that on the screen if I can find it again, just because people need to read that. I want to say that on loop. They fear no consequences. Democrats play for keeps. They play the long game, and they're committed to winning by any means necessary. Republicans, not so much. Not so much. They, and you just see it now. I remember, like, I don't know, 3-4 years ago when I was really starting to get into politics and like start to learn, like, okay, well, what do these, these talking heads on Fox News actually say? I started digging into things, and I used to watch stuff like Fox and Friends. I used to listen to people like Dinesh DSouza, and now I look at their tweets, I look at what they post, I look at what they say on TV. It's so like just bland, surface level. It's not heavy hitting journalism at all. I was looking at Dinesh D'Souza's Twitter, and he was talking about, look at this. He's talking about Mark Milley. He got owned on Twitter because he lost an argument. I'm like, they're over there trying to drag people to get this shot. They're talking about bringing back a mask mandate. The CDC is bringing that back. And we're talking about somebody who got owned on Twitter. This whole own the libs, look at this. Let's not hold Ted Cruz accountable. Let's just let him speak at SAS, and let's not even ask him any questions. Nobody's trying to do that. I'm just saying, we're not conserving anything if we let even Republicans get away with promoting this. Sarah Huckabee Sanders too. That we got to do something about it. Otherwise, we're not conserving anything. And that's why I think these, the conservative Inc., the more suit and tie corporate conservatism, that's not for me. I'm just not feeling it, because I don't feel like it gets anything done. Hannity over there, vaccine salesman. That's another person. I'm just like, man, can we talk about the corruption, the open air, blatant corruption, and how these Republicans like Mitch McConnell, Kevin McCarthy, they're weak. They're weak. When they go out there and we're going to condemn Liz Cheney. Okay, cool. It's pretty well known who she is now. Can you maybe do something about Fauci? There's only a handful of Republicans that are actually doing some legitimate work. Rand freaking Paul. He's been hammering Fauci, exposed Fauci for that Wuhan lab leak, exposed him for lying, wants a criminal investigation, but he's one man. But I can say that Rand Paul is actually doing something. He's active. He's not really out there virtue signaling. Do you really see Rand Paul out there virtue signaling? No. He takes after his dad, man. Rand Paul, Thomas Massey. There's just a handful. The rest are just there. They're just duds. They're just going along to get along. Controlled opposition. Just like when the Bolsheviks had their revolution, they had controlled opposition. There was the two-party illusion. That's it, man. Long overdue for this rant. Should have did it sooner. It's all good. I'm back, guys. So appreciate you all for tuning in today. I hope everybody's having a great week. Please, as always, make sure you give this stream a thumbs up, share it, follow me on Odyssey. I will be going back out soon. And I like that Odyssey doesn't censor. So when I go out and put a microphone in people's face, I can take everything. I'll try to still put stuff on YouTube, but I can put it all on Odyssey if I want. It's just a refreshing feeling. It feels good to be on these alternative social media. And I was sluggish to get on there. I admit it was hard for me to do that. And it's still hard to remember to upload stuff like, I got to post on Getter now. If I tweeted, but I got to post here and post there. I spread myself too thin, but I believe in Odyssey. Rumble has turned the corner a little bit. They still got some work to do, but I'm proud of the work that's being done to improve these alternative social media platforms. That's how we win. You got to tell the truth while you can. You got to get it all out there now, because like I said, they're going to clamp down on the internet soon enough. They're going to do it because it's a thorn in their side. That's why they're panicking. That's why they're freaking out. That's why it's coming from the White House that they're partnering with social media for a giant big government, big tech merger. It's already in the works. So you can only do this for so long. Tell the truth, shame the devil while you can. God bless you guys. I'll catch you in the next stream. And don't forget to give this a thumbs up. Thumbs up.